Voices Millennials. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. So lovely to see you and to hear you. You are listening and viewing us on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. And I am your host, Elle de Lyon, or Elle the Lion, some people call me, and I go by the artist name Pretty Dope. And I really think it's pretty dope that you all are here tonight. I'm coming to you live from Toronto, and it is great to be here. This is my first show. A lot of you might be recognizing a brand new face right now. I want you to know that you are in the right place. You are in the right place. I'm the new host of this podcast, and I'm so honored to be receiving the torch from Sam Charles and Prince, who have paved the way and led this community to where we're at. And you might have noticed, but I'm especially excited to be the first female to ever host this podcast. And I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you and understanding what you believe matters most. So, welcome to the conversation that's shaping our generation. This is Voices of the Millennials. All right. So, do you remember those golden days of dial up internet, flipping open a trusty flip phone, or jamming to tunes on an OG iPod? Yeah, we were there. We were witnessing the tech revolution firsthand. But hold up, because that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're not just changing the world, we're flipping it on its head with our unshakable passion for social justice and mental health awareness. And yes, even avocado toast. Who doesn't love some good avocado toast? But either way, we are sparking a movement. And who knew that a simple breakfast item could carry so much social consciousness? Like, give it up for the toast. I want to know though, like, who are the true millennials that we have listening here today? And anyone who's not a millennial, I encourage you to stay. Please stay, because I want this conversation to be open to everyone who knows, loves, or interacts with the millennial. But how can we know who we're interacting with if we don't know who the millennials are? Right. So, my ultimate goal is to make connections across generations using conversation. And so, in order for us to truly understand who we're speaking to today, who the millennials are, I have a game for you. I want to play a game. Okay. So, if you're a millennial, you will definitely understand these next references. But if you are not a millennial, you may realize that, you're just below or above it. So, either way, let's play this game. And once you're done laughing and everything, if you find these like super accurate, and these topics interest you, then I really want to know what you want to talk about, because I have hundreds of topics. When I got this assignment to be a part of this show, I started digging in deep, researching like crazy. Google is my official boyfriend, along with Chat GPT, and we should talk about stuff like that. Like, tech is going crazy. So I want to know what topics are most interesting to millennials. I know what I'm interested in being a millennial. However, there's so many things to talk about, right? So let's figure it out together. But first, like I said, let's play a game. Let's break the ice. You get to know me, and maybe I will get to know you. If you have any comments or anything like that, my team at Love Bay Radio is in the background, and they will send your comments to me. So make sure that, if you like what you're seeing or you want to see something different, that you let me know in those comments. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's get to this game. All right. So, you're a millennial when is the name of the game. We can also call it millennial signs, millennial moments. Basically, I just want you to let me know you're a millennial without actually saying, I'm a millennial, right? Like, tell me, what is it that your life revolves around that other millennials would relate to? So, you can think of yours, and I'm going to give you my top 20 signs to tell you that you are a millennial. And then this also kind of dictates like what's interesting to us, what's important, the things that we want to talk about. So I just a fun way to figure all of that out. All right. So my first one is, you're a millennial when you can't resist taking a picture of your food before you eat it. So if you're still out there taking pictures with your cell phone of the food before you eat it, then you, my friend, are most likely a millennial, or you have a child who's a millennial and they taught you how to do that. And also, I want to know, do the Generation Z, do you still, if I have any Generation Z listeners right now, do you still take pictures of your food before you eat it? Um, Now, I will let you know if these things apply to me or not. Like, it's only fair, and that way you really get to know me. And then, of course, once you get to know me, you'll be coming back. That being said, do I take I do take some pictures. If you go into my phone right now, I would say about 20 photos back, you might see what I ate on Mother's Day. Like, I took some pictures of our Mother's Day dinner because I thought it was phenomenal. Shout out to Island Mix. All right. So let me know. Do you take pictures of your food before eating it? Because then maybe you're a millennial, right? All right. So the next one is, you have binge watched, binged watched an entire TV series in one weekend. If you have done that, then you, my friend, are most likely a millennial. And now this topic right here, this gets me thinking about a really important topic that I know a lot of millennials are interested in. And probably just people in general. If you're a human being and you have a mind, you are probably very interested in mental health. Um, and maybe you might be interested in entertainment. And there are strong links between the way that we are entertained and our mental health. And these are topics that I really want to talk about on this show. Is, what is it that we are ingesting in our environment that's influencing our minds? Because ultimately, this is how we are able to elevate. And you may or may not have noticed, but my name is Elle. Just in case you forgot, that was a shameless plug. So Elle, for me, that name, it's the beginning of a lot of words that I believe can help us to become who we want to be. One of those words is elevation, elevate, etc. Now, that being said, I have a topic series, a series that we're going to go through together, and it's a journey because I had a conversation with my sister today, and she'll probably be on the show at some point. She is also my business partner, but I had a conversation with my sister today about what I was going to speak to you all about. Because, like I told you, I promise I have like hundreds and hundreds of topics that I'm so excited to share with all of you and just get your feedback on it, because I know that I've been able to elevate myself because of the people that I've been around, my community. And the conversations that I've had have really helped me to bring myself to where I'm at today. Shout out to me. That being said, shout out to you also. Shout out yourselves. That being said, I really want for us to go on this journey together, for you to see me as, not someone who's necessarily giving you advice, because I'm not going to be the only one on here. I'm definitely going to have some other friends with me who will be able to share their experiences about, the lives that they have led so far. And these are the gems, the gems, those gems of wisdom that will help us to carry ourselves further than we could ever imagine. And so that is really what I want to be able to bring to y'all. And that's my long way of telling you that binge watching an entire TV series in one weekend, there may be, some things that we need to look at. We need to look at maybe how healthy that practice is for your life. If it's not hurting you, you're doing this on an off time, etc., you're blessed. But if the binge watching is taking over some of the things that you need to get done, then that's when you know that there might be an issue. And you are not alone, because I have definitely been there. Binge watching TV has been a way for me to escape life. And as an up and coming filmmaker, I now use this practice, binge watching, in a productive way, but there were many times in my life where I did not. So I'd love to talk to more folks who have had any issues. Have you ever had issues with being addicted to the TV and streaming and all of that, as we stream, I say. That being said, let's move on. What are some other signs that tell you are a millennial? Okay, so we have here this one, I'm gonna say this is very, very true, for me at least. You communicate primarily through emojis and GIFs, or is it GIFs? Or is it GIFs? Because I never know, and maybe that tells you where I'm at on the millennial spectrum, but I'm never gonna tell you, all right? I'm in the millennials. We're all millennials. We all relate to each other. Doesn't matter if you're 1984, I think that's the beginning, and then 1994. So that's the span. Just in case you're wondering, millennials are 1984 to 1994, all right? Um, and we binge watch entire TV series in one weekend. We take pictures of our food, and we primarily speak to each other in little tiny pictures that some people call emojis, and like moving videos that other people call GIFs. GIFs. Please help me out and let me know. Is it GIFs or GIFs? All right. So moving on, moving on, moving on. You can't remember the last time you printed out a photo. If you are a millennial, you will probably remember there used, depending on where you're at, you would probably remember there used to be physical photos. And Polaroids, they even preceded that, but they don't count because I know they brought them back, all the retroness and all that, which is great. But that being said, if you are a millennial, you probably had a physical photo at some point, maybe even of yourself. And yeah, that's something that, has kind of gone with the digital age. That being said, personally, I have thousands of photos and I don't know if I would have if, we still kept with film. So there's a bonus. All right. So this one is a huge one, and it's definitely a topic that I really, really, really want to talk about. I feel this is going to be a popular one, and this is about relationships. Okay. And forming relationships, especially romantic relationships in the digital age. So if you are a millennial, then you have probably used a dating app to meet a potential partner. You might even be sitting beside them right now. And if you are, tell me the dating app. Let us know which apps are, or help people to meet people and actually, land them in that spot if they want to get married, common law, whatever it is. At this point with the millennials, we kind of have torn apart the idea of a traditional marriage. And I'm for that. I'm for the non conventional way of life and finding new ways to do old things, achieve new goals using, brand new and innovative solutions. So I'm for that personally. But going back to my list, if you have used a dating app to find a potential partner, you're most likely a millennial. And I'm saying this with like that downcast voice, but honestly, I think it's a great thing. I'm definitely part of the crew and I love being a part of this. I think that, we we are the forefront of the tech revolution. There was a time that was just before we were born where internet didn't even exist. Like, and look at where we are at in the last 25 years. It's bonkers right now what's going on. And I'm for it. I'm glad that I'm part of this age and get to see all of this goodness. Okay. So now again, back to the list. And don't forget, as I'm saying these things, I hope I'm generating some thoughts, some inspiration in you, and you are thinking about what is it that I want Elle to touch upon next week and for every Wednesday at 7, okay? Because that is where I'm going to be. And I hope that you're there too. You are listening and viewing us on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. So remember to join us 7 o'clock every Wednesday. And we stream on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and live on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. So you can go to the website and check that out as well. All right, all right, all right. So back to the list, okay? This list is getting juicy. We are now at number 6-ish around. And if you are a millennial, then most likely you have an idea that a phone call is a quick text message. So if somebody says like, "Oh, give me a call," you text them. Or yeah, that is the definition of a quick phone call is a text message. I 100% agree with this one. This is my saving grace. I do prefer to text over phone calls, but it depends on what we're talking about. I do recognize, even as a millennial, that there are some conversations that need to be had in person or over the phone verbally and not through text. So, that being said, I'd love to know, like, as you're thinking about this, have you ever had a conversation with somebody through text that you probably should have had over the phone? And how did that go? What did you learn from that? I would love to know, or vice versa. You know, sometimes some conversations, they don't need a phone call. They just need a text. And sometimes I think we just need to learn like the discretion between the two. Those are things we're going to talk about. Phone etiquette, because honestly, I need your help, y'all. Like, as much as you may be coming here to learn about being a millennial and, getting tips and tricks and techniques and life hacks that help you to elevate, I also need your help. So please bring in, because you have the lived experience of being a millennial. And even if you don't, you probably interact with a millennial. A millennial is your parent right now. Maybe your millennial is a boss of yours right now. Actually, it's interesting because as I was doing my research about, our demographic, our generation, I recently came across a very exciting stat. I think it's exciting because, it's about us. But in about 10 years, I think they said by 2030, all of 75%, sorry, not all, I'm getting excited. 75% of the global workforce, so that's everywhere around the world, will be occupied by a millennial, like someone within that range. They will be 75% of the global workforce. That to me, right there, I mean, that really, honestly, it puts this like great weight on my back. I kind of feel a little bit, overwhelmed with this responsibility of feeling as though, you really are the generation that's leading things forward. I do take that really seriously. As much fun as I'm having right now, I do take that seriously, that my generation is truly leading our nations um right now and for the next probably 20, 30 years. It's going to be on us, right? So we need to, get our stuff together, understand how the society and economy is coming together, and really navigate that. So this podcast is about navigating that space, being a millennial, being in this time period. Millennials right now are, the oldest one is about 40 and are turning 40 this year, and the youngest one is about 25-ish. I hope I did my math correctly. Please don't let me know in the comments if I did that math correctly. But that being said, millennials are essentially the people that you're interacting with the most on a daily basis, because they're outside of the seniors and they're outside of the children. They are, that 18 to 35 range, that 18 to 40 range, and they're making up the workforce. So we really need to pay attention to the millennials. So I'm very excited for this assignment that I've been given. I do believe it's my purpose to be able to speak to you all and talk about the things that resonate and are relevant to what is going on in your life. And if I'm ever missing the mark, all you have to do is please DM me. You can follow me on my own Instagram if you wish. It's Elle de Lyon, my whole name. And you can DM me and let me know what you want to hear about. You can put it under the comments of my last post because, I let everyone know that I'm here tonight. All right. That being said, let's get back to this list. So now, if you are a millennial, you know that because you've had a side hustle or gig economy job to make ends meet. Yes, and you know what side hustles are, you know what gig economy means. Gig economy, for anyone that doesn't know, is where you just accept project by project, job by job, gig by gig, instead of having like this traditional 9 to 5 or, even a part-time job where you go in regularly. It's like, I work for you today and maybe I work for your competitor tomorrow. Like, really, we're just out to make sure that we're making ends meet in our millennialistic life versus trying to have longevity in any one, business or career. We're a lot of entrepreneurs and contractors. I actually saw a really funny meme that said that one of the ways you know you're a millennial is if you've used the term that you're a contractor, like, or that you're a freelancer. And I think that that's true too. I have right now, happy to say that, I own my own business, and at the same time I have to have, or I choose to have, several other gigs, because this is the way that I can make ends meet, be my own boss still, and make a schedule that works for me and my life. So this is the society we're living in, y'all, and I wonder if that is the same for other generations. Like, are they also experiencing this gig economy and how that's impacting them? Especially the older folks who may, they've become set in their ways. And then I wonder about the younger folks who may never build that loyalty towards any one brand, so it's a very interesting conversation. We will dive in more deeper on another day. And you should come back so you figure out what day that is. Just join us every Wednesday at 7. And then you'll see. We'll be talking about fun, cool topics that we hope elevate, truly elevate you beyond where you're at right now. That being said, back to the list. How do you know you're a millennial? So, you know you're a millennial when you've experienced the frustration of your favorite streaming service crashing during a binge watching session. So, yeah, definitely. I used to be a big YouTube girl, and y'all already know, whoever's on YouTube, if you're relying on your own Wi-Fi sometimes, or if there's several people in the same building using the same Wi-Fi and they're all watching, a very heavy stream, then there's a chance that it will crash. I've also had streams crash on me when I was doing a show. Like, I used to, do an IG show before, and it would just crash on me. And like, there's people waiting. It was so frustrating. At the same time, I also remember when there wasn't, like, streaming wasn't even invented. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say there. So next up, you've participated in a social media challenge or viral trend. Now, this is a topic I really want to talk about more, because there are some really elaborate, really, I'm going to say, dangerous and also crazy, honestly, insane challenges that people are doing. Some of them are leading to death. Some of them are getting people expelled and fired from their jobs. So, this is a huge point, something that we really need to focus in on, because being millennials, these things are a part of our lives. At the same time, social media is a part of our lives. It doesn't have to be our whole life. There's still this whole non-virtual world that we need to, I think, navigate and interact with. And I'd love to talk about the rise of these social media challenges and viral trends, and how it's, possibly detracting, or is it positively impacting our non-virtual world? Like, are we having more to say because we know more, because we have access to more information, or is the access to information detracting from our conversations? Please let me know what you think. I really want to know um, what you think about that. So, that being said, we're going back to our list, back to our list. Next up on You Know You're a Millennial When you've used ride sharing services like Uber or Lyft instead of a traditional taxi. You may not even know, if you are a millennial, that regular taxis exist. So please let me know if this is you. Have you used a ride sharing service where you're at, like Uber or Lyft? And for my folks, because actually this is a great point, or a great time for us to mention that we're not only streaming, because some of these questions, I'll admit, or some of these things, they relate to, I think, the North American experience of being a millennial. At the same time, there are millennials all over the world, because this is a generational thing. And so I'm very curious to know about all the listeners that we have all over the world. How is it being a millennial where you're from? Like, are any of these things that I've said relatable to your life? Do they come up for you at all? I'd love to know. Let us know. You can always either send me a DM, send the station a DM. You can write in the comments right now, and I'll be able to see that live. Otherwise, we're going to keep it moving, and let us know. Have you used ride sharing services? I definitely have. But it's interesting because I find Lyft, I like Lyft. Uber, I've had some issues with, and at the same time, I do love the idea of being able to call these services right to your house at the time that you need it. Like, you can schedule it. And I know that you could probably do this with traditional taxis, but I think that the fact that it's in an app and makes it so personalized to you, it really helps to drive the trend or the necessity that now has become for Uber and Lyft. That being said, these are things I want to talk about as well, because now for some of us, depending on where we live, Uber and Lyft is the best way for us to get around. And then for others, we might be overindulging in these things and they might be taking away from our financial stability. So, financial literacy and stability are definitely things that we will be discussing on this show. We want to know how we can help each other elevate in those areas as well. So, my whole, reason for being, I feel my purpose is to help others elevate. And I can only do that by elevating myself. So, something that my father told me a long time ago was lift as you climb. And that is what I would love for this podcast to continue to be. Because, Sam Charles and Prince, they led the way. They talked about topics that really help to elevate folks. And I'd love for that to continue on this podcast. So that will not change. We will keep elevating you with the topics that we bring. We'll also bring in guests and experts who can help us to understand these topics further. Because as much as I have lived experience, I think you can see that I'm not that old, so I don't know everything. And I'd love to, bring in some folks who have other experiences than me. And that way we can all elevate together. That being said, let's get back to this list. We're almost done. And okay, here we go. This one's, I had to stop there for a second because this one is interesting. And maybe this will say a little bit more about me and why I'm here today, which is, you're a millennial when you've considered starting a podcast or YouTube channel. And here I am, the host of this show or new host of this show. And before I got here, I definitely thought about creating my own podcast. I secretly recorded myself for like 5, 6 years, just to myself. And like, it was my way, actually. And this is something I'd love to leave with y'all as well. When I was doing my secret podcast that nobody will probably hear because now we're here. So thank you, Love Bay. And that being said, when I was doing that podcast, I would start it out and say, like, you're listening to this podcast and all that. But really, my purpose for doing it was to have conversations, really deep conversations, uninterrupted with myself. I'm a big writer. I love writing. I'm a professional writer as well. And I used to write in my diary and my journals relentlessly, like every single thing I would write about. That being said, this is something I want to talk about too, is about, health, because I suffered a health scare, let's say, we'll go more into that another day, that left me a bit immobile. I was not able to fully use my right hand, and unfortunately, like, the amount that I used to write significantly decreased. And I felt really depressed about it for a long time. Fortunately, through the help of counselors for mental health as well as physical health, I'm able to, use function a little bit better than I was back then. But still, the functionality has gone down. Thank God for technology, because definitely being able to type helps a lot. Being able to dictate and tell a machine what you want it to say, thank you, Siri, has been a big game changer for me. But that being said, it my therapist at the time told me, and I really believe in therapy, so you'll hear me talk about my therapist all the time. It's not one person, it's a bunch of different people over the years that have helped me, and mentors as well. You'll hear me talk about that a lot too. But or and um I was able one of the ways that I was able to continue to write, because you heard that I'm a professional writer, so even though I lost functionality, and at first I felt like it was the universe rejecting me, like telling me that your dream of becoming a writer, becoming a host, like that's not going to happen because you have now this issue, this physical issue, this health issue, and this now is the most important thing in your life. This is the thing that's going to take over and that you should spend all your energy on. And for a long time, I really delved very deep into just understanding and knowing my health so that I could heal myself. I'm glad that, in a way, the universe at the time, I called it rejected me. I've now since realized that the universe was simply redirecting me to spaces where I was able to find new ways to do the things that I loved, such as writing. And essentially, it was just that I wanted to be able to use my voice to make a difference, or use my writing, use what is in my head to make a difference, right? So, for me, I discovered mindfulness because of that health scare. And I also discovered recording myself instead of writing. So, that long story was just to let you know that I definitely have thought about creating a podcast of my own. I'm very honored to be here because, I have the support of the Love Bay community while I embark on this journey. And I'm just so excited to be able to bring others on this journey. And I hope that you find yourselves here. I hope you find a piece of yourself here, um, because when you know yourself and know your purpose and what you're meant to do on this earth, I believe that there's no greater feeling. The times in my life where I've experienced that have been, you know, better than anything that I've ever tried. So, that being said, I really hope that through these elevated conversations that you're able to see yourself, and maybe you'll do something that you're really scared of doing, because please believe that I recorded myself for all those years without sharing because of how fearful I was that perhaps not everybody would agree with my thoughts or like me or care. And I'm going to tell you something right now, that all of those things remain true. That I still don't know if everyone's going to like me. I still don't know if everyone's going to care or even relate to even one thing that I say. But what is different about me now is my perspective on what that means. So, just because not everybody likes you or not everybody cares and all of that, it doesn't mean much about you actually. Like, you're still a good person if you believe so. You're still amazing. You're still talented. You're still creative and resourceful, and you're still whole. You're still a human being. And sometimes we get lost. Like, we forget that all of those things exist out of outside of, what your title might be or what you have achieved. And so I really hope again that if you are thinking about starting something new or being someone different, maybe that not everybody recognizes, I want you to start writing about that today. So every time we meet, as I told you, I'm a writer, and writing has saved me. Being able to express my thoughts on paper really helped me then to take that to the stage and to the screen. And now I'm able to finally be here in front of you. I practiced a lot in my writing, finally started practicing in my recording to myself when my hand didn't work anymore. And then hearing myself back, I was like, wait, this is like a podcast. This is not just my diary. It felt like that to me. So it started to become a podcast, right? That being said, here we are today. And now I'm not just considering starting a podcast or my own YouTube channel. I'm out here doing it. And I really want the same for all of you. So, again, if you're thinking about doing something, I want you to write it down right now. Like, even if it sounds outlandish, please write it down right now, because I promise you that 7, even 8 years ago, this seemed like a crazy thing for me to do. I always wanted to be a host, but yeah, I didn't go that route in my life. I didn't do those things. That being said, pandemic happened and it really shifted the way that I thought about myself and the dreams I used to have back then when I was a little bit younger. And I said to myself, I wrote it down. I'm gonna do this. I even drew like little pictures because I like drawing pictures. So I want you to do the same thing. At least write down your big dream, fold it up in a little piece of paper, and do me a favor, put it in a place. Maybe even remind yourself in your phone, because yay, technology, in like 3 months to open it up. And I would just love for you to be able to see how far along you are towards that goal. Now, we're not just going to write down that goal and leave it there and then leave you on your own. No, we're going to talk about some topics throughout our time together that I hope bring you closer to your goal. And if you want to get even closer to your goal, then please let me know what it is that your big dream is. What is your big goal? Like, what would, if tomorrow somebody asked you, what would put you at your most elevated state? What would be what would your penthouse look like? Okay, like if life was a condo, and the elevators are the things you can choose to do. So whichever elevator you get on, and you get on an elevator, what penthouse is it taking you up to? I'd love to know. Write it down. Let me know in the comments and send me these things, because then I can decide which experts to bring in to help you get closer to your goals. That's all I want to do. I just want to lift as I climb. So you help me and I help you, and then we help each other to achieve our goals. Because my goal is helping people. So, but just by you telling me what you need to get helped with, you already helped me. So we're blessed, right? That being said, back to the list. We got a few more minutes to go in our podcast. Thank you so much for being here today. If you've just tuned in, I would love to let you know where you're at tonight. You are listening and viewing us on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, and I am your host, Elle de Lyon, or LV Lion, whichever which way you want to call it, coming to you live from Toronto. And we're here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. with Voices of the Millennials on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and live on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. All right. So, that being said, now you know where you're at, what we're talking about today. Because of the show is called Voices of the Millennials, and since I'm the new host, I thought it would be a great idea if I let you know a little bit about me and the life I lead as a millennial by telling you my like top 20 signs of how I identify my millennials. So this is how I identify millennials, because many of the things I'm talking about on here I have done, or I know someone who has done it. They're my peers. That being said, everything's all good on the list. I don't think I've said anything that you should be like, "Oh my god, no." That being said, we are just at the halfway mark on our list, and our next sign or millennial moment is, you're a millennial when you've ordered food delivery instead of cooking or going out. Absolutely. I actually had to delete all of the apps that can buy food online off of my phone, because, again, when it comes to financial literacy, I started to recognize that, the way that my wallet was set up was not set up for the amount of times that I wanted to use Uber Eats or DoorDash or Skip the Dishes. I'm calling all y'all out because, you know, the way my wallet is set up. I wish we could be friends, but we had to break up because they were draining me. And it was honestly, I feel that I definitely could have cooked at home. Like, that's number one. But okay, maybe you're not the best cook or anything like that. Um, I could have went out also. Like, it also kind of isolated me as well, because I didn't have to go out. I didn't have to like see anybody or even interact with the delivery person or the person who made the food. I literally had to not speak or see anyone. And as interesting or as convenient as that was or is, I still realize that it's very important to interact with others. Also to understand how to get along with people. Like, There are times when I really wish that I could speak to a robot instead of a person because of the attitude that I'm receiving from them. But at the same time, I recognize that it's human beings that we really have to live with, for the rest of our lives. And I really enjoy being around human beings, and learning how to be around them and communicate effectively is important. And it is definitely one of the things that we will delve into on this show is effective communication, relationships. What are your goals in relationships, be they romantic, with work coworkers, with your family, even strangers? Like, do you prepare for those moments to meet strangers? And how do you interact with them? These are all things that I'm very curious about, and I'd love to hear what you all think about it. And I'll bring guests on who can also shed their light on the topic as well. All right. So that's a big one there. Definitely, you're a millennial when you've used a food delivery app to order avocado toast. So you heard me joke about it a little bit earlier, about the fact that avocado toast has become almost a symbol of our generation, I will say. Like, if there was like a symbol that could identify all of the millennials, I would throw avocado toast in there. What would be your symbol? What would be the one symbol that you say defines millennials? Is it avocado toast for you? I definitely have had avocado toast many times. I do enjoy it quite a bit. As a child, I don't think I liked avocado even a little bit. So again, it's just so interesting to see how trends influence our tastes, not only in our clothing, and the people that we hang around with, but even our literal tastes. And I saw another meme actually that said, why do millennials literally use the word literally everywhere? Literally. Tell me if you think that's true. And if I've said it too much tonight, you can throw that in the comments too. We are all here learning and growing, and I hope that we connect on some things that relate to all of us. That being said, let's keep it going on our list. If you are a millennial, you know this because you've taken a selfie at least once. By this time, I think that everyone who has a cell phone with a camera has probably taken a selfie by this time, because it's very interesting that you know cell phones and the ability to take a picture of yourself really came into play with the cell phone. And so, therefore, I definitely think if you're a millennial, you know what a selfie is. You've probably taught your grandma how to take one, and you're probably teaching your little niece or nephew how to do one right now. So, or your kid, because millennials could be parents right now too. All right. So, shout out to all the millennial parents as well. All right. So, moving on down our list. Next up, you're a millennial when you've shopped online more frequently than in physical stores. Now, this one, I threw this one on the list because I have sisters. Shout out to my sisters, my real sisters, and also the ones that come from different misters. And the way that people shop online right now, like the amount of packages that come to my house, none of them are for me. None of them have my name on it. But there's bear packages coming around. And they're all from Amazon and Fashion Nova and I don't know, everywhere, anything, not only clothes. I've seen books, I have seen water bottles, toilet paper was being ordered online. So pretty much, I definitely agree with that one. Let me know what you think. Do millennials shop online more than they do in stores? When I do go to the mall, and I don't go often, I mostly see, yeah, there's mostly like seniors and young people, like I would say teenagers also at the mall. That being said, there's enough cars in the parking lot. So I know millennials are still shopping in stores, but do you shop more online or do you shop more in the store? Let me know. And we can talk more about that because consumerism is at an all time high. That being said, next topic. You've participated in or attended a protest or march for a social cause. If you are a millennial, then this is probably true. I do agree with this. At the same time, I wondered, I think people born before 1984 would have probably also resonated with this because there was a lot of civil unrest during this, late 50s, definitely the 60s, and then just going into the rest of our lives. Like a lot of what we are experiencing now, especially some of the rights that we have, especially as Afro Caribbean people, um, do or come from all of that civil unrest and all of those marches and protests that they have on had on behalf of our lives, really. So and I do see that this trend continues. I hope that it does continue because I know that a lot of things have changed for me and the people that are coming after me because of all the work that was done at these protests. So I'd love to, talk more about protests and marches and social causes and the things that we need to really be mindful of and be aware of, being millennials. Like what outside of ourselves, there's this whole big world and lots of things are going on, especially outside of North America. And even within North America, crazy things are still happening that I can't even believe are happening in 2023. But we will talk about it and we will hopefully find ways to overcome these hurdles together, find new solutions, all of that. And if there's a person that you think I should interview on any of these topics that I've just talked about, then let me know. Again, send me a DM, Elle Delion on Instagram, and or you can send it straight to Love Bay Radio, and they will let me know for the next show. All right. Next up is oh, I think we have a chatter. We have an audience member. Oh, an audience member is checking in. Oh, yes. I know I'm not a millennial because I do not use rideshare. So that is awesome. I love it. This is how you know you're not a millennial. This is fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Um, and Yes, yes, yes. Very true fact is that the first choice for millennials to order in. Thank you so much, Karina. It's so true. I don't even know if we think first about possibly going out or going and getting food. I think we really do. I know my first choice is always like Uber Eats, and then I remember how my wallet is set up, and then I don't do it. So, that being said, that's how it is. This is how it is to be a millennial. But let's talk about a few more things before we get out of here. If you are a millennial, you've shopped online more frequently. Oh, we did do that one. Let's move on. If you are a millennial, sometimes you don't read the right line because all the text. Okay. All right. So next, we have four more to go, just four more. So if you are a millennial, and if you are sending me comments right now, I appreciate you so much for letting us know how you feel it is being a millennial. And if any of these resonate with you, that's amazing. And also throw some of your own. So you know you're a millennial if you've experienced FOMO. Now, if you don't know what FOMO is, then you're probably not a millennial. And FOMO, for the ones who don't know, is fear of missing out. So that is like when you're seeing all of your friends' social media posts, they're putting up their stories and they're like, I'm here tonight. Or they're like, oh, about last night, dot, dot, dot. And you wasn't anywhere last night except club bed. And you're feeling like maybe you should have went out. That's FOMO. So that's that feeling where you fear that you're missing out on something. I want to say that usually when I've experienced FOMO, it was an incorrect feeling is what I'm going to call it because or a misguided feeling because usually I wasn't missing anything. Like the pictures and videos sure do make things look amazing sometimes and much better than they are in real life. And so this is definitely something I want to talk about is virtual reality versus reality. Even the people who constantly use like filters for their pictures and things like that, or even just filtering their world, like making the world like have like sparkles everywhere every time, or like, those flashing lights. And it just gives us this false sense of reality that some of us are not able to come out of, or we just do not find joy in reality anymore because of all the things that we can do in virtual reality, all the things we can control. Reality, there's not so much you can control. I definitely know that, but I want us to find ways that we can do that together. Okay. So we have three more, last three. You've used Venmo or other digital platforms. So this might be for my friends in the US. If you're in Canada, maybe you have used some other digital platform like your banking app to be able to split bills with friends. Like we don't even carry cash anymore. You know you're a millennial if you don't carry cash. I'm going to throw that one in there. And then this next one falls right in. You've probably dabbled in cryptocurrency, or at least you've heard of Bitcoin. So you are millennial if you have cryptocurrency right now or you know what Bitcoin is. I definitely know both of these. Don't have any yet, but that's something I really want to talk about. I have a couple of experts and folks who have really hit it big in that market. And then some people who, they would tell you the opposite. They're like, don't get into it. So we want to know and we want to hear who has it right. And maybe not even right, but we just want to make more informed decisions. So this show is about giving you, that platform so that you can come here, learn about things that are going on, and decide for yourself how you want to design the rest of your life. Um, and then finally, the final one of how you know you're a millennial is you've relied on YouTube tutorials to learn a new skill or fix anything around your house. This is me 100%. I am very, very happy to say that I have several degrees, and I am completely in love with everything that you can do on YouTube. In fact, we're streaming on YouTube as well. And for those of you who don't know where you're at or who you're with, you are listening to Love Bay Afro Beat Music Radio, and we are online, Music Talk Radio, and we are online on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And we're live on the air on the website. You can listen live, you can view us live. My name is Elle Lyon, and I'm coming to you live from Toronto. I'm going to be here every Wednesday at 7, and I want you to join me at Voices of the Millennials. This is the conversation that is shaping our generation, and I look forward to seeing you next time. What I love to do, I told you a little while ago, but for anyone that just joined us, I do want to always leave you with some sort of exercise. I don't want to just leave you with all these, oh my God, I'm a millennial and I do all of these things that are ruining my life, possibly. No, 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 no. I think everything is good in moderation. And we are here to discover together what that moderation looks like. I promise you, I've been on all sides of the spectrum. And I'm here to learn with you, to grow with you, and to connect more with you. So I'd love to hear more from you about what you want to hear, what topics you want to discuss. And please use my writing activities to help you elevate your life. So tonight, I would love for you to think about any of the things that I brought up tonight that kind of tell you why you're a millennial or how you know, and use that to write something about the goals that you have for yourself. So think about, all those things that millennials do and where we're at and what people think about us, because this list is kind of, what we think about ourselves as well. And I would love for you to come up with a goal for yourself. A goal for yourself. Maybe you heard something on this list and you're like, oh my gosh, like I do spend too much money on Uber. Or maybe you heard, hey, I could use a digital app to split bills with my friends. So either way, what I want you to do is I want you to write a goal. Maybe your goal is to learn more about digital technology so you can use it to help your life be more efficient. Or maybe you need a digital detox and now you want to make a goal that's going to help you to achieve that. Whatever your goal might be, write it down. We're going to work on those goals together. Let me know what your goals are if you want me to work on those goals with one of our experts or guests in the future. And you can find me here at Love Bay Radio 7 p.m. every Wednesday. This is Elle Lyon, and I'm signing off of Voices of the Millennials. I really, really appreciate y'all being here tonight. Up next, we're going to have an amazing show as well. You know, there's always amazing shows that are going on here at Love Bay. Um, Actually, before we get out of here, the last thing that I want to do, if you didn't know, and I don't think you would because I didn't even tell you, is that I also, one of the gifts or one of the skills that I have been gifted is mindfulness. And I discovered that through practicing yoga. And in yoga, one of the big things that, goes along with it is meditation. And then in meditation, I discovered folks who would guide you. And they would guide you in this meditation to help you to really just solidify what it is that you have said that you want to do. And so tonight, I really want to leave you with a guided meditation. And this guided meditation is just going to be for just 2 minutes, just 2 or 3 minutes, and we are going to be talking about our goals. And I really want for you to visualize your goals. Visualize that thing that you want. And I would love for you to now just close your eyes. If you haven't tried this before, you don't have to close your eyes. You do not. But it does work a little bit better, I find, if you close your eyes and just shut out all of the distractions that are around you visually. And as you're shutting your eyes, I want you to start focusing on your breath. And maybe you are in a quiet space right now, maybe you are not. But just anywhere where you are that you feel that you can just relax without any distractions, I want you to, head over to that place. And then, as I said, close your eyes and start focusing on your breath and allow your body to relax with every exhale. So when you're breathing in and you feel your belly rise, I want you on your exhale to feel your body relax. And now I want you to visualize yourself standing at the starting point of your journey towards your goal. And I want you to see the path stretched out before you, filled with possibilities and opportunities. Take a moment to connect with your deepest desires and intentions. What is the goal that you want to achieve? Feel the excitement that comes with it and allow that energy to fill your entire being. These are the breaths. Every time you breathe in, I want you to feel that excitement and passion. And every time you breathe out, I want you to relax into knowing that you are on the path to your goals. Visualize yourself reaching your milestones and making significant progress towards your goals, feeling that sense of accomplishment and fulfillment that comes with each achievement, celebrating each step along the way, no matter how small. Now imagine yourself standing at the finish line, having achieved your goal. Feel that immense joy and satisfaction and gratitude for your accomplishment. Take a moment to savor this feeling and let it soak into every cell of your being. As you come back to this present moment, I want you to bring the energy and the motivation from this visualization with you. Open your eyes and take a deep breath, knowing that you have power and determination to make your goals a reality. Remember that goal attainment is just a journey and it requires consistent effort and dedication. So use the powers that you have harnessed in this meditation whenever you need a boost of motivation, and remind yourself of your ultimate vision. Believe in yourself, stay focused, and trust in your ability to achieve your goals. I believe all of us are stars, so keep shining. Peace and love, y'all. See you next week.